social media, and you and I often get emails from mothers who say they've started homeschooling, they've been going for a year or two, and they're using a distance education service provider or an online school or something that's CAPS-based, and they're finding it really strenuous and stressful to keep up with the program. The mother finds she has to nag her kids, or they're reluctant to do their work. No one's having fun. Sometimes there's tears. Sometimes we have the mother phoning us in tears because she's just feeling desperate.
Yeah.
And, she asks, is this the way it goes? Is this what everybody deals with all the time when they're homeschooling? Isn't there a better way? So how do you reply to those kind of questions and scenarios that we get presented with?
Well, I love it when they say, is there a better way? Because the answer is yes, there is. But it actually takes bravery to walk away from the thing that they've spent their money on, and the cultural flow of, thinking that homeschooling needs to look like what's most familiar to them, which is school, and must have all the assignments and the testing and the assessments and somebody else setting the pace for you, and you always needing to keep your child up to somebody else's arbitrary standards. So when they say, is there a better way? It's just fantastic to be able to say, yes, there is. And this is what it looks like. But for a lot of parents, they will still stumble over that. And that takes a while for them to accept that the better way is harder in a sense, because you're continually facing your past, your teachers who taught you, your experiences, what other people around you are doing who seem to be thriving in that online space. So we say, yes, there is, and we like to call it relaxed homeschooling, and then we can jump into what that actually looks like. It's not no homeschooling. It's not kids lying around in pajamas all day. Although many kids do enjoy doing school in pajamas, and that's one of the, the nice things about homeschooling. But so if it were your homeschooling day, Shirley, and we both followed a relaxed, literature-based way of doing it, tell us what your day looks like. How would you encourage me in what my day could be?
Well, instead of stressing over textbooks, I think, we do use textbooks for discipline subjects like maths, for example, but other subjects, you can just read books together, storybooks, reference books, nice color picture books that you can get from the library or that you can buy for your home library. You can sit on the couch together and you just enjoy reading, and then you can do activities or outings related to the things you've read and learned about. And you can customize the things that you do according to what grabs your children's interests. So if one child is mad about animals, then you can go exploring and go and see animals and wildlife. Or if they're interested in arty things, you can do those kind of things. So the curriculum becomes your tool, and you use it to develop and refine what you do according to your children's interests. So you're really teaching the child and not just teaching a curriculum, the way everybody else does it. And I think that's the beauty of home education, that we can give our children this customized education, teaching them things that delight them, that they take an interest in, and then just covering the basics along the side as we go. They all have to learn to read, and they all have to learn to do maths, and those kind of disciplines we do. But the rest, you can make it much more delightful and enjoyable for you too. You can also learn what you're interested in. I think half the things that I've chosen for my kids, I chose because I also wanted to enjoy those subjects and those topics.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the thing is that we generally then have two follow-on questions from parents when we try and explain how a relaxed homeschooling model could be. And the first thing is, yes, but what about maths and reading? And for those, you can always, you should actually use a program. They are layer for layer subjects. So unless, you're an Einstein, you really want to have something that is going to help you build the foundation in your children so that later on they can do higher level maths if they want to go into that. And you want to make sure that your children are reading fluently, and often using programs for those is wise, so that they can eventually take over their own interests. They can start learning for themselves, and that's what reading does. Why should children learn to read? Well, because it will mean that they will become self-starters, self-learners. That's the most important thing. And then the second question is, yes, but I don't have time to make up my own things to do all of these things. And that's why there is just this smorgasbord of amazing things out there. So you have that conversation with your children. If they're not showing a natural inclination toward a subject, you can say to them, well, I found this science program, maybe it's Footprints Nature Quest, a science and geography program, or I found South African history, or would you like to study world history? And you can go and pull in those resources for your children, so you don't have to go and reinvent the wheel. But if you are one of those super confident, sort of natural, creative types, you might find it very easy just to slip in and out of subjects and topics. So there, the mom has a safety net as well. That relaxed doesn't mean like loose, all over the place. You have the safety nets of well thought out homeschool curriculum made, written by homeschoolers for homeschoolers. And in that you can rest. Maybe the season later on will be that you're going to do something yourself, create your own unit study, or, be patient as you ease out of a structured CAPS or online environment into something more relaxed. So that's the way I would answer it. Anything that you would add?
I think just one last point is that we learn as we go. So we all start out not really knowing what our children are interested in, not knowing what curricula are out there. And in the first couple of years, it's good to try one thing. And if it's not great for your family, then try something else. And eventually, within a year or 2 or 3, you'll settle on a combination of products and programs that suit your family better than whatever you started out with.
Yeah, good advice. Great stuff.